Prior to the symposium, Defense News Land Warfare reporter Jen Judson sat down with the Undersecretary of the Army, Ryan McCarthy, who's been spearheading the creation of Futures Command. Here's a look at part of that interview.
The three major components or pillars of AFC are combat development, combat capability, and combat systems. The combat development is the futures and concepts based on threat analysis of a net assessment variety, looking out at how technology is changing the battlefield. The capability is the elements of ARCIC and RDECOM, where you look at requirements, definition, interpretation, S&T investments, prototyping and experimentation. So elements of ARCIC would repatch or reflag themselves and work for the Futures Command. RDECOM, with the S&T, the labs, would be filled into the this sub-element or sub-command of Army Futures Command. And combat systems are the program managers that are formally assigned to the CFTs, but are matrixed into the command. So they still are hardlined with their authority to Dr. Jetty, the Army Acquisition Executive, but they are assigned with a formal relationship to those CFT directors. This formal assignment, it would be new, and it puts forward better teamwork, collaboration, and accountability in the process.
You have yet to decide where Futures Command is going to be, but you've said that you expect it to be in a city. Can you talk a little bit about the process for narrowing down where the Futures Command may nest and where you are with that?
So there's two critical factors. You start with the broad strokes, academia and business. We have to get more agile in how we work with both of those key constituencies or communities. The Army, and really not just the Army, but the entire Department of Defense really divested a lot of its systems engineering talent back in the 90s. And it's been a challenge for the department for weapons systems development because of not having that organic capability inside the department. With respect to the location, it's the density of STEM and R&D talent, the density of innovation and business, and how those types of companies line up against our priorities. Civic support, quality of life, and as well as productivity metrics. A lot of big cities, you have a lot of traffic. We don't want people in the car all day. So we worked with an outside organization that helps major corporations develop a quantifiable formula so that we can adequately assess very objectively the type of location we need to support those key characteristics that I described.
Can you talk about where you are in the process now? I know you were talking about looking at maybe a variety of cities, about 30. Have you been able to whittle that down at all?
We had started as wide as about 150, went down to 30. We teed up the 30 to the Secretary and the Chief. I'm awaiting a signature, and then we'll go from 30 to 10. We'll whittle that down to 10, and once we get those 10 locations, this is all over the next 2 months, so we got a lot of moving pieces right now. We will send out a letter, which will have a packet of information with a series of questions. Send it to the specific city, but also copy the governor and the Senate, the entire congressional delegation, and with a series of questions. They'll respond to those questionnaires, and then we'll look at how they fare with that, reshuffle and filter based off of responses, and then send out teams to recon the sites. We'll get down to about 4 cities, and then General McConville and I will recon those cities ourselves and make a recommendation to the Secretary and the Chief. So we have a lot of work to do over the next couple of months.
Are you down to 10 now, or are you still?
I'm waiting for the decision.
If you could talk a little bit about the Futures Command commander and what qualities you're looking for in a commander. I know the decision won't happen for maybe a couple of months still.
Sooner than that.
Yeah. Okay, sooner than that. All right. What are you looking for in a commander?
Balance is really to the bottom line up front. Obviously, this officer has to have the operational experiences to understand how our formations fight. Really astute understanding of the doctrinal way the Army does business. But they'll also have to have unique experiences on the Army staff, understanding of the Congress, Office of the Secretary of Defense, because it's all of those variables are involved at a macro level to making a decision with weapons systems development, coupled with the fact that they have to understand industry and business. So you can really narrow that list pretty quickly, because that's an all-around athlete, if you will, can play a lot of different positions. So, but General Milley and General McConville are working real hard with the senior leadership. They have a slate down to a couple names, and I expect Dr. Esper to select this officer in the very, very near future.
All right. And that will be a 4-star billet?
That's what is our intention.
Okay.
It is a 4-star command.
Okay. I know you already alluded to this too a little bit, but what would you tell the folks out there that are, worried that they may have to move to a different location in order to be a part of the Futures Command and keep their current position?
The restructuring is so that you can put the pieces together, streamline the pieces or the fundamental tasks involved to streamline the process. We are not looking to move thousands of people and for sale signs in front of buildings. The talent is where the talent is in the country. We have a lot of capital investment in these locations. But, for example, with the research, development, engineering, we have it in a logistics command. That's at the tail end of the process. We want to bring in the S&T investment closer to requirements. What is the intent that the warfighter wants, as opposed to seeing a piece of paper on an email or a memorandum? It's now a team of teams that works together, that are incentivized, that are accountable, better teamwork. So that was the rationale. So they change in unit patches. They're not moving across the country or anything. They're just going to have a different relationship in the process. So we brought them closer together. That's the ultimate intent.